Hello, and welcome to this session on the menu. This is the fifth presentation in our Lunch and Learn series, which is hosted by the Faculty of Science. My name is Jacqueline Blundell, and I am the Interim Associate Dean of Research, Dean of Science rather, for Research and Graduate Studies. Thanks so much for joining us here today. I would like to begin our session on student supports at Memorial University with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. We encourage everyone to reflect on the lands where you are located and the Indigenous peoples for whom these lands are traditional territories. Our on-the-menu sessions are meant to cover a wide range of important topics, which we hope will be of interest to faculty, students, and staff, both at the graduate and undergraduate student level. Keep an eye out for news about our next event, and if you have any ideas for future sessions, we'd love to hear from you. Please submit your ideas via the chat window, or at any time you can just email us at science@mun.ca. Today we are extremely pleased to feature an incredible group of presenters. They include Andrew Kim, who is the Director of Graduate Enrollment Services with the School of Graduate Studies, Jason Geary, Acting Manager of the Blundon Center, Dr. Natalia Barykina, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Graduate Studies Librarian with the QEII Library, Dr. Ken Fowler, Director of the Student Wellness and Counseling Center, Valeri Pilgrim, a Manager of the Indigenization Student Resource Center, Dr. Sonja Knutson, Director of the Internationalization Office, Jessica Whalen, the Undergraduate Student Career Development Coordinator within the Faculty of Science, and finally Alicia, the Student Academic Success Coordinator from the Center for Innovation and in Teaching and Learning. Julie Boring, a Graduate Student Career Development Coordinator from the School of Graduate Studies, unfortunately wasn't able to join us today, but she has shared some material with us, which will be available on our website. If our presenters have material or links that they'd like to share, they can send it to us after this session, and we will include those as well. As I mentioned, we are recording this session, and we will also post it on our website within the next few days. Before I turn things over to our presenters, and to ensure this is a positive experience for everyone, I would ask that all attendees please turn off their mics and cameras. The only cameras we would like to have on for this presentation are those from the presenters, hosts, and moderators. Following the presentation, if you have any questions, please let us know. Indeed, throughout the presentations, we will be monitoring the chat. So if you have a question, please write question in the chat and we'll call on you. However, if you prefer, you can also write your question in the chat and we will read it out to our presenters, or so our presenters can respond. Please be sure to keep them brief so we can get to as many as possible. So I think that's about it. I'll turn this session over now to Andrew Kim from the School of Graduate Studies. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Blundell, and thanks to the Faculty of Science for inviting us to this workshop. I know there are many people presenting today, so I'll try to keep my comments brief and concise. And I also know that this is intended for both undergraduate and graduate students. And so for those of you who are doing your undergraduate degrees, particularly in your third and fourth year, and if you're thinking about graduate school, you may know that you can go to your professors or the admin staff in your department for advice. But please also remember that you can also reach out to faculty and staff in the School of Graduate Studies if you have any questions or seek information about admission requirements, funding packages, program requirements. To set up an appointment, just email sgs@mun.ca. If you are thinking about grad school but don't want to set up an appointment just yet, there's general information that you can get. We offer events throughout the year, as well as webinars every week. And so what I'll do, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this in the recording, but I'll post a link to where you can register for the webinars in chat. If you're a graduate student, I guess the important thing to mention is that we work with all the grad school works with all the service units here represented at this workshop to provide holistic supports for graduate students. So they can include things like, supports for grad students with families. That's work that we do with the IO. And we also work with the SWCC as an example to provide counseling services specific for graduate students. One of the things we try to do really well is to ensure that the supports that you get as a graduate student are at the same level or better than what anybody would receive at any university in Canada. And so, one of the ways we do that is by meeting monthly with graduate schools across the country to understand what the best practices are, in all the different provinces. And we also look very carefully at the student experience surveys, the exit surveys that we administer yearly, and the national surveys that we participated in every 2 or 3 years. And it's from those surveys that we know that PD and academic skills workshops are really important to you as graduate students. And so for that reason, through EDGE, which Dr. Blundell referenced earlier, we offer over 100 different PD and academic skills workshops throughout the year. And so I'll also post a link to that. We can get more information about those in chat. And finally, I think the key takeaway I think that I want to sort of communicate through this workshop is, if you ever need any advice as a graduate throughout your program, in addition to your supervisors, professors, and the excellent admin staff that you find in the Faculty of Science, please also remember that SGS is also here. It can be academic advice, financial advice, or any kind of advice that you might possibly need. Just email us at sgs@mun.ca. Somebody will get back to you within 1 business day, but more often than not, it'll be within a few hours, and we'll find a way to help you. That's it.
That's great. Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate. We will post those 2 links not only in the chat but also on the website with this recording. So thank you. Okay, so the next person I have on my list is Jason Geary. Jason, I don't know.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great to be here. So I'm here on behalf of Jennifer Brown. Dr. Jennifer Brown is the Director of Student Life. And so when she asked if I could talk about student life in 5 minutes, I told her I couldn't, but I still had to do this. So happy to, I'll provide some links as well. And just as a reminder for folks who are on the call, you can save the chat. I know we're likely, those of us that don't have PowerPoint, Sonja, will throw all kinds of web links in there. And so you can save the chat and just download it to your computer so you don't have to frantically write all these down. So again, my name is Jason Geary, and I'm the acting manager of accessibility services, but I'm just going to talk just kind of broadly about student life and the supports that are here. And then happy to have questions at the end. Dr. Blundell, I don't know if we will have time for that, but happy to take any questions as well. So within the student life portfolio, we have a number of units that provide support, ongoing and also acute and timely supports for students that require them. So we have our student experience office, which now is busy helping other units prepare for matriculation and all these other fun pieces. So they are the folks behind the Ask Me desk and the Ask email address. So we have that student experience office who are busy supporting students throughout the entire year. We have our career development folks who work with graduate students, undergraduate students, and their instructors to think about career, but also think about work terms and think about internships and what may be necessary to support students in those ventures as well. We have the Student Support Office, which some of you may be familiar with, but that's an office that provides a number of different supports for students, including financial support. So there are emergency short-term loans that students can avail of, other bursaries that are available to students. They also have a suite of other services, so gift cards for groceries and for students that are in need. And also bus passes recently added so that students can get to campus if they don't have transportation. And I know I've worked in student support too, so I know there's a lot more that they can do, but it's not things you can put on the website. But they're happy to meet with students to help them. If it is a crisis, they work closely with student wellness and counseling. I mean, they're not counselors, they're not clinicians, but they have a great relationship with student wellness and counseling. So they're a great place to just, if you don't know where to go as a student, or as a faculty member, or as a staff person, that unit is wonderfully situated to provide that support. And last but not least, there's accessibility services, or the Blundon Center. We provide supports directly to students with disabilities and their instructors and the institution. So we're busy onboarding students for this semester. We have, right now, we're supporting just under 1,600 students for the fall semester. So, and it'll grow, I'm sure, but we're here, we're working with those students and working with instructors to navigate some of the accommodations that both undergraduate and graduate students avail of during their time here. And I'm sure we'll continue to do that throughout the rest of the fall. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, Dr. Blundell, but I'm happy to leave it there. And I did threaten to put an email or URL in the chat, so I'll do that as well. And so that's just the Student Life website. And then the other one I'm going to add there, if it's okay, is just the contacts for Student Life. So I'll lay that there as well. It's all laid out. And again, just as a reminder, you can save the chat instead of frantically writing these down. So thanks again for the opportunity.
That's great, Jason. We have lots of time. If there's anything else you wanted to plug or mention?
Yeah, so I guess the other piece, I know that a number of students really rely on, and it's through the student support office, and it's a little tangly now because of kind of the mix of, remote and on campus and online, and those are changing by the day, it seems. But I know the Puppies and Popcorn program was quite popular back before we knew what COVID-19 was, and they're looking for ways to bring that back in a safe way. And so on the third floor, they used to have, and likely will have again, that opportunity to meet with those support animals, get a bag of popcorn, but also the chaplaincy. And so there's a number of chaplains available through the student support office. They're located on the 4th floor here. And I'm happy to report that there's now a new Muslim chaplain appointed, and so students can avail of those services as well. So those faith-based or non-faith-based services are available through the student support office as well.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you so much. I had no idea. This has been such a learning curve for me, particularly over COVID-19, when I've had to reach out to these types of supports for students and for myself. And we are very lucky to be here. Okay, so thanks very much, Jason. So moving on to Dr. Natalia Barykina.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks. Hello, everyone. I am Natalia Barykina. I am a graduate studies librarian here at QEII Library, and I will give a very brief overview of the library supports and services. And I also will put some links in the chat here. This is my contact information, and also there will be links that I will be mentioning today. So as we are making this shift to in-person learning here at Memorial, the libraries, our library branches are open to students, faculty, and members of the community. Our libraries here on St. John's campus, we have 4 libraries: the Education Library in Commons, the Music Resource Center, the Health Sciences Library, and the QEII Library, which is the largest library on campus and home to archives and special collections and Center for Newfoundland Studies. You're welcome to use any of our library spaces. We have group study areas, silent areas, places where you can chat. And all the libraries also have computers, printers, scanners, assistive technologies, and people who can help you to troubleshoot and use them. So library homepage is where you keep up to date with the news, with the library news and events. It's also where you're going to be accessing our print and electronic resources across all the branches. just a moment. So your MUN login ID is also your library card, and you will need this to log in to use the library online resources as well as borrow books in print. As librarians, we can provide personalized research support with funding resources, including special collections and discovering data. We can provide guidance on data management, citation management, literature reviews, and so on. And we also have subject librarians or liaison librarians who are disciplines formally designated contacts. You are welcome to contact us at any time. We can be reached by email. You're welcome to make an appointment. We can meet you in person, and there are also a chat function where you could reach to us pretty much at any time with a question. Our libraries and staff have thorough knowledge of the collections and will provide you with expert advice. And please feel free to reach out anytime, drop by. We are looking forward to working with you.
That's great. Thank you so much. It's funny, I was having a WebEx lab meeting the other day, and one of my students was in the library in one of the, I guess, open areas, and she was just being able to access WebEx and participate in the meeting. So that's a wonderful service for students who may not have laptop access or whatever. So that's great. And the study rooms are open and they can book as per usual. Okay, great. Excellent. Sneaking a few questions in here and there. Sorry about this. Well, thanks so much, Natalia. Okay, great. We are moving right along. Dr. Ken Fowler.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It's been a while. So we're both from the psychology department, and so that's how we know each other. But I've been with the psych department for about 20 years, and I was placed in this role about a year and a half, or a year and a bit ago. So it's an interesting job to take on the Wellness Center when the pandemic hits. So it's been what I thought was the job when I applied is a real different place now, because the Wellness Center is responsible now for vaccines. We offer vaccine clinics every Wednesday down on the 3rd floor of the University Center. So vaccines, some testing as well. And the challenge was also to be virtual, to actually do clinical counseling and medical services virtually. So that's been quite a shift for us. But in any event, the Student Wellness and Counseling Center is here to help students achieve. And many times students run into things that, wellness and mental health issues that would serve as barriers or would sort of challenge individuals. So we're here to help individuals move through their academic programs. So here at the Wellness Center, we have counselors and clinicians who provide short-term therapy to students who experience personal, academic, or career issues. So we have clinical psychologists and wellness navigators that provide services. And also we're a training institute, so we have master's level counselors in training and clinicians in training, doctoral students in training that also provide care as well as they move toward their goals as practitioners and professionals. So we also, you may know, we have medical clinics here at the Wellness Center as well. And we've actually recruited a few physicians lately, so we're growing our physician presence here on campus. But physicians here are family physicians, and they serve the student population. And if students have spouses or children, they're also part of the service group as well. And we also do advocacy and health promotion through our outreach programs. We have an army of MUSEP students and HKR students that help with outreach and education, health promotion programs as well. So it's quite a diverse service or group of services that we offer. Now, the big challenge has been getting to students virtually, because especially last term or last year, the campus was closed. So students were still entitled to our services, but they were everywhere on the planet. So we were able to do virtual care, and we're going to continue to do the counseling virtually because of density and space issues here on the Wellness Center on the 5th floor of the UC. So, and physician services, about 80% of them are still virtual as well, because of, as I say, the density issues here. So that's been the main challenge. But in any event, last year, despite students not being physically present on campus, we saw over 1,400 students and saw them virtually through the Wellness Center. So it's been a real learning and innovation for us to be able to provide service that way. Another thing too is we also were challenged with offering services to students outside the country because the licensing of our professionals prohibits that. So we had to try to look for an innovative way to connect with students outside of Canada. So I just drop a little plug here. There's a service that we provide now for students, international student representatives on campus. It's called Keep Me Safe. And it's a service that provides counseling to individuals in their own language. Its service represents 160 countries around the world. So if this is of interest to you, it's called Keep Me Safe, and you can connect with the Wellness and Counseling Center to learn more about it. They're my few little items to share with you today. So I think I'll stop it there. Thanks.
That's great, Ken. I can't rave enough about that program. I think that's exceptional to have it in their own language, their own culture. That's outstanding. And the fact that you can avail of it no matter where you are in the world is really excellent. Well, and so students, you said that the care, do you have a link for how a student would book an appointment or either with a mental health professional or like a family doctor or something?
Yeah, I'm going to put the website, the SWCC website link there in the chat. But how I usually remember it, if I want to double check our website, is I just Google search SWCC Mod. It'll land right there. And there's a little link for counseling services. There's a hyperlink there on the main page. It says request counseling. Hit that, put your personal information in, and then hit submit, and you'll be added to the queue, and we'll contact those that request services. Now, I'll have to add though, it's incredibly busy. This term has really started off. We're actually quite shocked. Our request for counseling services is 10 times what it was this time last year. And so it's massive. So be patient with us. And because we see everybody coming in to ask for help, and we're trying to find innovative ways to connect. We also have partners in the community. So Eastern Health have this Doorways program that we advocate for. That's listed on our website, as well as Channel, their warm line. We advocate for that as well because we're on their board of directors. So these are real partners of ours. So you can see other listings there for community services, and please feel free to try them as well as you wait for us. So thanks for asking an extra question. I had to drop that as well. Thanks.
No, and one other thing, I guess, if it's a real emergency, please feel free to call 911. Right, yeah. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thanks. It was lovely to see you again. Okay, so up next is Valeri Pilgrim from the Indigenization Center.
Hi there. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Blundon and Philip. Ulukut to everyone. Ulusiakut. Good day, good afternoon. I'm going to share a quick PowerPoint, if you don't mind, because I like Sonja, I need some guidance too, otherwise I forget. So I need that. So share. Thank you, by the way. Doing that. Okay, I think it's there now. I'm just going to where's my okay, can you see that? Is that a full screen for you? Okay, great. So as Dr. Blundon said, my name is Valeri Pilgrim. I've been the manager here at the Indigenous Student Resource Center, or ISRC, since 2018. Previously, I worked at the Internationalization office under Sonja and Lynn, so great experience there as well, and still enjoy those conversations, and important to keep those relationships as well. We're housed in Juniper House at 208 Elizabeth Avenue, and yesterday we had our grand opening. So we officially named the house Juniper House, which was consultation process with our Indigenous communities as well, and as well as with students and staff. And we came, I guess, decided on Juniper House as being the right name for this space. It's a beautiful space. Renovations took place starting in 2018 through facilities management. So, and Tama and I, the two staff members, moved in last fall. We've been in and out since last fall. Of course, we were home when we had our waves, but Tama is the Indigenous Student Success coordinator here at the ISRC. And as I mentioned, I've been here as manager since 2018. So just quickly go over some programs. Some you'll see like in green, others you'll see in red. So during the pandemic, of course, we had to kind of hold off on many of our programs that we offer our students. So basically, we're a safe space for students. We want it to be a welcoming space. We want students to be able to feel belonged, and when you come into this space, it's not, you don't feel like you're in an institution. Actually, you feel like you're home, and that's the way we want it. We have a beautiful outdoor space too, and I'll show you some pictures in a second. But in the past year, we've had Indigenous student and another MUSEP student doing a little bit of research on Indigenous medicines and looking into that through MUSEP. We have our Wisdom Wednesdays where we have guests come in. We try to keep our Wisdom Wednesdays for Indigenous space for Indigenous presenters and students. However, we also have invited non-Indigenous peoples into our space to share their information as well. That's important too, that we know who's on campus and what resources are out there, both on and off campus actually. We have actually Thursday 10 Talks was something that went on during the pandemic. It was started on the onset of the pandemic, just to come together with the staff. Students could come together and meet staff of the Office of Indigenous Affairs. However, since I'd say September, we've kind of phased that out because we're back on campus, and students now come in to see us. So that's great. Writing sessions we have twice a week. We have a coordinator that helps our students with writing down here at the center, about 2 sessions a week at 2 hours each. Of course, we provide student employment opportunities such as MUSEP, like many places on campus, many units on campus. We provide Indigenous awareness activities such as Orange Shirt Day. And so today at 3 p.m. we'll be live streaming an Orange Shirt Day event, which will be happening at the Bruno Center at 3 o'clock, followed by a march around campus. So Kelly Ann Butler and Tama Fost will be leading that at the Bruno Center. And I'll be greeting everyone as they come around to our outdoor space here at around close to 4 p.m., I guess. And we'll have some snacks and coffee and tea out for staff and students, and tying orange ribbons on the trees here in our space. Just wanted to mention that because that's happening today. Throat singing, Tama provides throat singing or Inuit drumming on occasion. We try to have that on Fridays. It's been a really busy month planned. We've had a Monday naming ceremony. We had tent structures erected on Monday afternoon. And yesterday was the grand opening. So our programming has been a little bit, I guess postponed in the last few days, but we'll be back on track next week. We did have the Visiting Aboriginal Elders pilot project in partnership with School of Social Work in recent years. And that went very well. Had a lot of great feedback from the program, from students and staff. We've had tent gatherings. As you know, our most recent tent gathering was postponed on a couple of occasions mostly due to weather. But we hope to bring that back again in the winter. We have craft sessions. We've had Bannock and board games. We haven't brought that back yet. These are pre-pandemic midweek bunches. We are bringing that back in on Wednesdays for our students. That is basically leaving out snacks for our students because everyone needs a break and from studies and needs I guess a sugar rush sometimes. We do have First Nations and Inuit drumming, which we are just bringing back now. And of course, we have beginning and end of semester celebrations. Some of the services we provide, TAMA actually matches students with tutors if they require tutors from in a particular subject area. And since Friday, I think she's had at least 15 tutor pairing requests. So she's super busy trying to pair students with tutors at the moment. We have study space here for students. If anyone wants to smudge or like the hullik on campus, the request will come into this office, isrc@mun.ca, and I will follow up with a form to facilities management, and they will check the systems, and then once that's done, we can go back to the requester and approve that process. So we like to ask people to request this process at least 1 week in advance of your event. We participate in class conference or panel discussions if we were asked, and if we have the capacity, of course. We provide student scholarship information. We have facilitated the blanket exercise in the past, and we put that on hold for now because at the moment it's still not able. We still cannot come too close together, and the blanket exercise requires fairly close contact and sharing of items and things like that. So we've put that on hold. We do have the textbook boring and Indigenous authors library where students can come in. We've just brought that back. Students can sign out books if they can find them on our bookshelves. We have photocopiers, computers, and fax machine. We've just started that as well. We sanitize everything now. We have students in and out, so we have to follow COVID rules, which we're doing. We have a refrigerator, microwave, coffee and tea access here in our kitchen, which again we have to again follow COVID health and safety rules, I should say. And prior to COVID, we did provide our students with photos of their graduation, and we'd like to bring that back again as soon as we can. Just some pictures of our space. As you can see, we have a beautiful front yard. And this is where we'll set up the picnic tables this afternoon for when everyone comes around from the Orange Shirt Day March. And we have a little garden. We planted 2 juniper trees with Chief Joe and some elders and knowledge keepers the other day, and it was a beautiful experience. This is our welcome wall and our student lounge. So you can see welcome in various languages. Shima Minu Takushnyok is Inuimun from Shahajit and Natwashish. Atilihai is welcome in Inuktitut in northern Labrador, Nunatsiavut, and that is where I was raised, up in Nain. So I'm used to Atilihai. Tungasiugit is another dialect in Inuktitut for welcome from Nunavut, parts of Nunavut. Chilazi is Mi'kmaq, and I think everyone should know welcome and bienvenue. And we've left spaces for perhaps adding more welcome in different languages. So lots of space here compared to what we had. So much functional space, computer room, student lounge. Here's the computer room again. Beautiful views of trees and grass. Like I love coming to my office. I think I have this nicest space on campus because I have windows to the front yard and the trees. It's just beautiful. We have a MUSEP workspace. Yeah, so lots of light and beautiful, a beautiful area and space for our students. I'm very proud to have the space. I can provide some links. I'd like to provide some links for this afternoon, this afternoon's event. And let me just see that now for the Orange Shirt Day. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but okay, I found the link. I'm going to copy it and paste it in the, 1 second.
It's no problem. You have a very busy day ahead of you, so take your take your
Yes,
time.
and just want to thank you again for the opportunity. And I'm just going to put in, and I don't know if anyone has any questions, feel free, but I just put in the Orange Shirt Day event for 3 o'clock, and that's going to be live streamed. You can also look at it from our ISRC Memorial Facebook page. And I'm going to share the website to our office, actually. I got it right here, and just copy it.
The pictures of the space are beautiful. I haven't had the opportunity to visit yet, but it's certainly on my list. It is a gorgeous space. So
And
very
I welcome anyone to drop by for a tour. Just tell me in advance, because we get pretty busy. I just before this presentation, I had Leela Evans pop in, so I feel like I rushed her out, but I know Leela, so I think she was okay with it. And so, yeah, but it was nice to see her. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me via Pilgrim@mun or isrc@mun.ca. Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. Okay, so Dr. Sonja Knutson, next on the list. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm also going to share a few slides. It just it makes it easier. But thank you very much for the invitation. It's always so wonderful to see Val's slides and to see that space. It's absolutely gorgeous. So if you can drop over, I highly recommend it. It is a beautiful place on campus. I'm using the slides because it helps keep me also on track. I wanted to just say internationalization. Our office is located over in Burton's Pond. We look after numerous components of internationalization. So we support faculty and staff and students around international and intercultural curriculum. So we can do training, but we can also provide information about how to internationalize curriculum. We support faculty staff with their international opportunities. We support international research and projects. We manage all the international institutional partnerships. We have a couple hundred. We do external engagement, which means basically government relations when ambassadors come and need briefing notes about what we do, what Memorial has done in their country. We do all of that. We look after the now 4,300 international students, and we also provide international experience for domestic students. And we have a new pot of funding of about $500,000. We're waiting to sign the agreement with the federal government, and we will be using that to support Newfoundland and Labradorian students, as well as Canadian students and international students who wish to take advantage of going abroad, either to work, study, or do research. But I'm going to just focus on international students for now. We do a lot in terms of pre-arrival. So we help students before they arrive if they are facing hurdles with their immigration documents. We do webinars around what to expect when they arrive. And we have some videos about, what it's like to land at the St. John's Airport. And we also do those cross-cultural training sessions as webinars so that students have a little bit of understanding of what our culture is about before they arrive. Then we have an airport greeter program. That's a 20-year-old program where we send students and staff to the airport to meet all the flights of all the students coming in. 900 students since August 1st. So that has been a very, very busy program. That is much more than maybe 3 students a day, something like that. So it's been extremely busy. And then the next piece after they arrive is, well, where am I going to live? So many of them, of course, are going into self-isolation right now. But the housing assistance has been really, really key for this semester. And we provide orientation as well, just links and supports to students to figure out both on and off campus where they need to go. We also do core advising, so immigration advising, health insurance advising, income tax advising when the time comes, career advising, off-campus housing support, intercultural advising. If students are in crisis, they also can come to us, and then they'll be connected into that team that we heard about from Jason and Ken There is sort of a multi-unit team that supports a student through any sort of a crisis, including an international student. We do networking events, mentor programs, and we do a conversation partner program. And just to let you know, my office also, where I am sort of caretaking the writing center, there's been some transition. And so it's reporting to me temporarily, I think, I hope. But just to let you know that we have not only the peer support for writing, but there actually is a new English language specialist in the Writing Center. So if anyone has English as a second language, they can go to the Writing Center and actually get really specific support. And if any faculty or staff are interested in connecting with that new English language specialist, they can do that as well. And I'll send those links along, as well as this PowerPoint presentation. So we support everything holistically around international students, and that's our website. But like I said, I will send along the PowerPoint presentation so that you have it. And I will stop sharing.
That's great, Sonja. Thank you. Have you noticed that either an increase or decrease in the number of international students come this past year?
Double cohort this year, absolutely. Yeah. We had 3,500 international students in 2019, 3,600 in 2020, and 4,300 in 2021. And when we look at the winter semester, where we see there will be at least 300 new arrivals then, and also in the spring, we're anticipating around 300. So really significant numbers this year. And that's why we're sort of, you know, that housing crunch of everybody arriving all at once has been a huge challenge for our students.
Yeah, and I can imagine how you did not anticipate your job being dealing with COVID-related matters, right? It's remarkable how each one of these support systems has made the transition to COVID-related life so easily, and well, I don't know about easily, but certainly so well.
And like Ken, we have maintained remote advising. So students, if they visit our office, they'll be encouraged to actually make an appointment remotely with a staff member. And that's because of partly workload. We have so many students, and we don't have any more staff than we used to have. And so managing the ins and outs of that, managing the traffic, it's just more than we can do. So we're asking students to continue to reach us remotely. It just makes a lot more sense. Also, we never know from day to day whether someone's going to get a sniffle or their kid's going to get a sniffle and they're going to end up working from home. Like I'm working from home today. I twisted my ankle last night, so unexpectedly I can only do things over from home today. So if I had in-person meetings, it wouldn't have worked. So we just figure stay that way, and that way there's more consistency.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Great. Next, we have Jessica Whalen from the Undergraduate Student Career Development Coordinator, or the Undergraduate Student Career Development Coordinator here in the faculty.
Thank you. I'm also going to share some slides because I'm pretty visual and I might talk for 10 hours if I don't. All good? Okay. So I just wanted to share a pretty brief overview of the services I can offer to students, and faculty, of course, can please feel free to share with any students they think may benefit from the services, events, programs, etc. So a quick overview of what I do is I provide resources for career exploration, including online assessments. So I can direct students to, we have usernames and passwords so that they can access various online assessments to kind of see what their skills and interests might match up with career-wise. Resources for job searching, and that's not only after graduation, that could be for part-time positions, research positions, internships, anything throughout their degree as well as connecting students, alumni with employers through networking events. I offer one-on-one appointments. There's a little more on how to book those coming up. I have office hours. We can do mock interviews, whether that's for a job, an internship, medical school, graduate school, scholarships, all kinds of practice interviews. And we have lots of questions we can source out and work on developing some really good answers for those. And of course, assisting with resume and cover letter writing, whether that's starting from scratch or maybe just editing what a student already has prepared and giving a bit of input and advice, and LinkedIn profiles. Everything's becoming more and more and more virtual, and LinkedIn is just skyrocketing as a major networking tool. So we can look at those as well. Various events, science career talks. I do have one coming up, which I will show you and plug shamelessly for the next 3 weeks until it happens. There's weekly career development workshops in partnership with the Center for Career Development. And the career advisors across campus and different departments help out with those. And those can be found on the Student Life webpage as well, which I know was shared earlier. For various topics. So rather than a one-on-one appointment, these would be just workshop style, so information providing. In the winter semester, there's a job searching club for senior science students. So that would be for 3rd year and above students. And it's, off the top of my head, I can't quite remember the number, but I think it's 8 weeks long. And each week focuses on a different skill, or it could be resumes, it could be networking, it could be interview skills, but you, over the course of the 8 weeks, get lots of skills for when you're ready to start your job search as you're nearing graduation. There's a speed networking event in March that coincides with Career Week, and that's a big one. Lots of employers and students get to spend 7 minutes at each station figuring out what the company is all about, how they can get their foot in the door, what the employer is looking for, what opportunities they may have for someone with their educational and skill set, educational background and skill set. And this is the event coming up on October 22nd. It does have a chemistry and biology focus, though all science students or those considering a science degree are welcome. It is not an exclusive event. It's going to be Friday, October 22nd. Via WebEx, and I have 3 alumni coming. One is the Assistant Deputy Minister for Climate Change with the Government of Newfoundland. She has a conservation biology background. And then I have 2 chemists, a research and development scientist with the Very Good Food Company, a Vancouver-based company which manufactures and creates plant-based meat alternatives. It's actually quite neat and interesting, as well as a current Master's of Science student who is also working with a company called 3F Waste Recovery. And they take byproducts from fishery, forest, and farming and turn them into sustainable natural products. And that is a local company, and they are currently recruiting scientists. So students sign up. Faculty and staff, if you know of anyone who may be interested, please pass along that info. It's a great opportunity to make some really important connections for the world of work. I will share this slideshow on the website after, so that that URL and my email, of course, are available. And if any students do want to book a one-on-one appointment with me, they can do so through their Navigate app. My direct link for all my availability is on the website. There's some instructions here on how to get there. I will share the direct link in the chat now once I'm off as well. Or I have drop-by office hours on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 9 to 11 in the Chemistry and Physics building in 2057. And drop-ins are always welcome. And that is it for me, unless there are any questions.
It's excellent, Jessica. Thank you so much. I know that having an undergraduate degree, or not knowing what to do with an undergraduate degree rather, is quite a persistent issue on the minds of many students. And so having you available, I think, is a critical. Doing things like interviews, applications, those kinds of things is awesome. So
or even just figuring out what you want to do, because sometimes that's, you don't know.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. Okay, and our last presenter, certainly not least, is Alicia Wall, the Student Academic Success Coordinator. And so welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to, add our supports and resources to the end of this very great list that we've heard today. So hi, I'm Alicia Wall, and I'm the Academic Success Coordinator at CITL, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the Academic Success Center today. So the Academic Success Center is a relatively new initiative that we started to support students in becoming, independent, strategic, and engaged learners. So helping them develop and enhance academic skills through learner-centered programs and resources, while also serving as a kind of central access point to help students navigate a lot of the different academic-related services that we have across campus. So for example, from the ASC website, which I'll share the link to, I don't have any slides, but I'll share the link to this site. So from the ASC site, you can get to academic advising, you can find out how to download Navigate, you can find a list of the academic help centers and links out to those, how to find study spaces, including the new remote learning classrooms, and a lot more, all kind of in one central location. So we are currently located in the MUNOP site, which students will likely be familiar with as kind of the university's online hub during our remote semesters. So in that location, we are building an online library of learning skills, resources, and programs to help students reach their academic goals, sort of focusing on topics such as time management, exam strategies, study skills. And while we are still relatively new and growing, and this is something that's not currently available, but we are in the early stages of planning a supplemental instruction pilot programs to offer some peer, learning and tutoring opportunities within some targeted undergraduate courses soon. So like a lot of others have mentioned, we are kind of having a focus on offering some online and hybrid options even as we, progress through our back to campus and move away from remote to ensure that, some of those supports and services are still available to students regardless of where they may be, as I think we've all learned about, the convenience of flexibility and what students are looking for. And this is kind of in line with what most people know CITL for, which is our support for learning technologies in providing, assistance and support for Brightspace and web conferencing and other learning tools that students encounter on campus and online as well as remote courses. So that sort of support, which I'll put some links into our student resources there as well. So we provide guides and best practices for student use of learning tools. So in addition to that sort of technical side, with respect to the Academic Success Center, we've been promoting some learning resources to students throughout the last few semesters. So students that are receiving Monday Mail or the graduate student newsletter may have seen some, promotion of some timely resources at different times throughout the semester. So we encourage students to check out what those resources, as well as what else we have available on our website to help with academic skill development. So as we continue to grow and build our library and begin our supplemental instruction program, we are excited to kind of add to and complement a lot of the services that are already being provided on campus to help students learn to be successful. So I'll share some links, but that was all I wanted to share. So thanks very much for some of your time.
It's great, Alicia. Thank you so much. I actually wasn't aware of your group myself when I got your email, and so this is a learning experience for me too. So thank you.
We are very new, so I'm sure you're not the only one. But we've been trying to, promote to students throughout the last few semesters, but we're, hiring some new positions and hopefully will accelerate some of the growth within the next little while.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, we do have a couple of minutes for questions. I wanted to thank all of the presenters here today and everyone for joining us. Were there any questions that weren't covered by our presenters? You can just put it in the chat, if so. While we're waiting for a second, I just wanted to point out that I hope this was informative not only to the people who attended, but also the presenters for learning about these new opportunities or these new resources for students. If you want access to this presentation, just let Kelly or myself know and we can provide that. So maybe some of your students who you're dealing with in one aspect might need sort of help or support in another aspect, which they might find the resources here for. Anyone have any last questions, I guess, the last 2 minutes? Okay, well, thanks so much. I appreciate you all attending. And if you have additional resources you would like us to include, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll post them for you in sort of one space so students can access as they deem necessary. Excellent. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Happy Orange Shirt Day.